Hey guys, right as I was uploading my review for Deadpool in advance to schedule tomorrow at 6 a.m., I suddenly got a notification telling me that my video got blocked due to copyright. Because, yeah, I did use clips from Deadpool, I admit it. I just didn't expect it to suddenly get blocked without warning. So, I have no choice. I'm going to have to do a audio only review of it. So that's what you're going to get. I mean, yeah, I'll probably use the review music and maybe some sound bites, but I won't be using any clips from Deadpool to avoid my video getting a copyright block. This does piss me off because I seriously worked hard on this. If you want me to if you want to see what the original video was going to look like, you can message me on my email, tonymangarcia@yahoo.com, and I'll see if I can try to send you the original video that I had in mind. Maybe for some money, like maybe $5. I mean, I'm open to anything. I hate that what I worked on was just went to waste. But yeah, anyway, here's my review of Deadpool. Deadpool is a 2016 action comedy superhero movie directed by Tim Miller and written by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. Ryan Reynolds stars as the titular anti-hero, reprising his role from X-Men Origins Wolverine. If you weren't satisfied with his portrayal in that movie, this spin-off more than makes up for that abomination. This film decides to be a faithful portrayal of what made Deadpool so great to begin with in the comics. It's the 8th film in the X-Men franchise, and the first to be released after Wolverine altered the timeline in X-Men Days of Future Past. And with that time-traveling retcon is an opportunity to ignore the events to X-Men Origins and do right by the Merc with the Mouth. Now, with the exception of some extended editions to Daredevil and the Wolverine, most Marvel movies licensed by Fox have traditionally been rated PG-13, a marketable staple to ensure teenagers and tweens have access to watch their movies in theaters. But this is Deadpool we're talking about, a character who's known for being violent, foul-mouthed, and, to put it lightly, a bit of a perv. A PG-13 rating could never do the Merc with a Mouth justice, so Deadpool became the first movie in the X-Men franchise to be given the R rating, and thankfully, the movie benefits from this. After a hilarious title sequence, the film opens with Deadpool riding in a taxi, this time wearing a much more faithful comic book accurate red and black costume, played again by Ryan Reynolds, like I said. His chauffeur is Dopinder, played by Karan Soni. After some funny banter with the taxi driver, Deadpool waits on the highway for some bad guys to kill. One particular bad guy he's looking for is Francis, aka Ajax, played by Ed Skrein. Why? Allow me to explain through most of the flashbacks. It all started 2 years ago when Wade Wilson was just an ordinary former Canadian Special Forces agent being a freelance mercenary who would sometimes intimidate stalker creeps. Wade went to a bar owned by his best friend Weasel, played by TJ Miller. While at the bar, Wade meets stripper/sex worker Vanessa Carlyle, played by Morena Baccarin. They fall in love, and a year later, Wade proposes to Vanessa. She says yes. Ah, that's nice. But the happy days come to an abrupt end as Wade and Vanessa soon find out that Wade has stage 4 cancer in his liver, lung, prostate, and brain. Face it, Tiger, that is a jackpot you don't want to hit. As Wade and Vanessa come to grips with him having el cancer, Wade contemplates leaving Vanessa so that she doesn't have to see him go through dying of cancer. While contemplating at Weasel's bar, Wade is approached by a mysterious recruiter that I will refer to as Jared, played by Jed Reese. Jared offers Wade a chance to volunteer for an experimental treatment that could possibly cure his cancer and maybe, just maybe, turn him into a superhero. Wade thinks it over, and then he decides to leave Vanessa to join this experiment, especially if it means she doesn't have to see him die from el cancer. Wade is taken to a lab where he meets Ajax and his right-hand woman, Angel Dust, the latter played by Gina Carano.
Look, children, it's 2 falling stars. Make a wish.
Ajax and Angel aren't exactly nice. They inject Wade with a serum that is meant to awaken or activate any latent/dormant mutant genes in his DNA. And what better way to activate a dormant mutant gene than to subject a person through various methods of physical torture for days? Which doesn't work, by the way. Did I mention that Ajax and Angel are torturing a person dying from cancer?
What an asshole!
Wade does get back at Ajax when he learns his real name is Francis. That's like finding out that a gangster named Papa Doc's real name is Clarence. Yeah, I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook, that's a private school. What's the matter, dog? You embarrassed? This dude's a villain. His real name is Francis, and Francis lives at both home with both parents. And Francis' parents have a real good marriage. Well, Francis doesn't like that Wade just did to him what B-Rabbit did to Papa Doc, so he retaliates by putting Wade inside a hyperbaric chamber that he sets to take away all his oxygen, which will in turn make Wade suffer from asphyxiation. And he intends for Wade to suffocate from asphyxiation for an entire weekend. Well, this activates Wade's mutant gene, which is his signature healing factor, which also destroys his cancer. But Wade's new healing factor causes his face and entire skin to become disfigured with various cancer scars that make him look like Freddy Krueger face-fucked a topographical map of Utah. Why is he disfigured despite having a healing factor? Well, due to the fact that he was given this healing factor while he had cancer, the healing factor is accelerating his cancer, evolving it into a sort of super cancer with cancer cells that are forever undying. These undying cancer cells spread all the tumors and scars all over Wade's body, hence his disfigurement. It's pretty much worse than dying from cancer. Wade is able to get out of the chamber and attack Francis for causing his disfigurement. But during the rowdy confrontation, Ajax is able to make Wade stop trying to kill him when he tells the Canadian semi-mutant that he's the only one that can cure Wade's disfigurement. Then, Wade gets impaled and left for dead. But thanks to his brand new healing factor, Wade survives. Wade approaches Vanessa in an attempt to let her know that he is alive, but he gets cold feet and is afraid that if he shows Vanessa his new disfigured appearance, she might react like this.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus! God! Oh, Mary, Mother of Jesus of Nazareth!
After having a talk with Weasel, who is surprised to know that Wade beat his cancer, Weasel suggests going after Ajax as revenge. And so Wade Wilson creates a new vigilante persona known as Deadpool. Why Deadpool? Okay, let me get this immature joke out of the way. It's not because he's dead, and it's not because he has a pool. Now that immature joke is out of the way, allow me to explain why Wade chose the name Deadpool. At Weasel's bar, Weasel has a betting pool for anyone who would most likely die in the bar. Weasel and his various patrons nicknamed this betting pool a Deadpool. Deadpool. Get it? In fact, Wade choosing the name of Deadpool actually goes back to his comic book roots, as in one storyline that discussed his origins actually wrote in that when Wade was seeking a cure for his terminal cancer at a sort of similar Weapon X facility, many of the volunteers had a sort of betting pool for which of the subjects would die from the experiments, a Deadpool. Get it? In fact, when Fabian Nicieza and Rob Liefeld co-created Deadpool in the comics, the Deadpool name was actually a reference to the 1988 Dirty Harry sequel, The Deadpool. Now you know! As Wade interrogates various affiliates of Ajax, he moves in with a blind elderly woman for a roommate known as Blind Al, played by Leslie Uggams. Eventually, Deadpool finds Jared and interrogates him to tell him where Ajax is, eventually brutally killing him off screen. Once he finds out where Francis is, Wade calls a taxi, and I think you can figure it all out after that. Wade kills a bunch of Ajax's goons and he eventually finds Francis. But right as he's about to do to him what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s, suddenly, two members of the X-Men interfere. These two X-Men are Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Colossus is played through motion capture by Andrei Tricoteau and voiced by Stefan Kapisik. Negasonic Teenage Warhead is played by Brianna Hildebrand. Colossus tries to reason with Deadpool about not killing Ajax and to quit being so reckless, and while Wade is distracted, Ajax escapes. Wade doesn't take it so well, and he tries attacking Colossus. But this is Colossus we're talking about, a man who can turn himself into organic metal. So Deadpool breaks both arms and legs. You would think Colossus would win and he'd be able to successfully take Wade back to Xavier's Institute for Gifted Youngsters, right? Wrong. It actually ends with Wade escaping. Wade gets back home to Blind Al so that he can get his hand to grow right back. While he recuperates, Ajax and Angel confront Weasel about Wade, finding out about Vanessa. Wade goes to the strip joint that Vanessa works at to try and approach her, but he comes too late as Ajax has kidnapped her. Wade's not happy about it. Ajax rubs salt in the wound by letting Wade know that he and Angel have Vanessa at an abandoned helicarrier in a junkyard. So, Wade responds by coaxing Colossus and Negasonic into helping him rescue Vanessa, to which they comply, only under the condition that Wade considers joining the X-Men. They hatch a ride with Dopinder and get on over to the abandoned helicarrier in the junkyard. Deadpool and the two X-Men start fighting Angel Dust and Ajax's cronies with maximum effort. Deadpool fights his way to Ajax, but then Ajax stabs Deadpool in the head. Suddenly, Negasonic accidentally destroys the supports to the helicarrier with her powers during the battle, which causes everything to fall down. Wade's able to protect Vanessa from the damaged ship while Colossus gets Negasonic and Angel to safety. Right when Wade gets Vanessa out of the debris, Ajax attacks him again, but Wade overpowers him. Francis is then like, "Surprise! There was no cure for your fugly face, I was just fucking with ya!" But before Wade can finish him, Colossus tries to reason with Wade to not kill Francis. Sadly, the X-Men's reasoning falls on deaf ears as Deadpool kills Ajax, getting his revenge. After that, Vanessa gives Wade a stern talking to, and can you blame her? First, he leaves her without warning her, and she almost died because of his enemies. I think even Wade knows he done fucked up, because he apologizes profusely and then shows what Francis did to him. Vanessa feels bad for him, but she does remember that she does still love Wade, and the film ends with them reconciling and kissing. Aw, that's nice. The film then has a post-credit scene of Deadpool spoofing the post-credit scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, talking about the idea of bringing Cable into the sequel. And that's how it ends. What can I say about Deadpool that hasn't already been said about this movie? To put it plainly, I fucking love this movie. It's a massive improvement over Deadpool's appearance in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and a worthy follow-up to X-Men Days of Future Past. Here's what I love about it. Now, I should point out this was the first time that Red Reese and Paul Wernick ever got involved with the X-Men franchise in some way, their previous films that they wrote being Zombieland and G.I. Joe Retaliation. There's a good reason Ryan Reynolds had them be the screenwriters for Deadpool. It's because they understand the character perfectly. I have to give these two writers and Ryan Reynolds a whole ton of credit for going out of their way to make this movie as faithful as possible to the comics. This movie almost didn't happen, and Green Lantern didn't do Ryan Reynolds any favors. The fact that this movie happened is a miracle in itself, and I like that the cast and crew went out of their way to make sure that this was an R-rated Deadpool movie. And I respect that Ryan Reynolds went out of his way to make sure that the studio didn't interfere with the movie and try to neuter it to a PG-13 rating. Deadpool has been the victim of Fox's interference before. Never again. Of course, Fox did eventually release a PG-13 cut to Deadpool 2, but that's a story for another time. It's great to see a faithful Deadpool do his thing, kill bad guys and make quips with colorful language. This story may be a basic revenge story, but the performances and the comedic elements more than make up for it and make it entertaining. This was the second time Ryan Reynolds got a chance to play Deadpool, and he truly nails it the second time. His performance before he became Deadpool and after is a great performance, and I can say that Ryan Reynolds is to Deadpool what Robert Downey Jr. was for Iron Man. Both gentlemen were born to play the part. Reynolds nails the character down to a T with fourth wall breaking and various forms of comedy, and he does a great job performing in the makeup provided by Bill Corso. Since I'm on the subject of makeup effects now, I guess I can talk about the man who provided the makeup effects to make Wade Wilson look disfigured. Bill Corso has been doing makeup since 1986 and got his start doing second unit makeup for films such as Batman and Robin, and has done makeup for various films such as Galaxy Quest, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, and Click. He's been the makeup artist for Jim Carrey and Harrison Ford, and he does an amazing job bringing Wade Wilson's disfigured face to life. It's great to see that Bill Corso stayed on for the rest of the Deadpool films. Let's also talk about Deadpool's red and black suit. Since the beginning of the X-Men franchise, the movies have always lacked in color, to say the least. It's always been black leather over faithful costumes, which was why we haven't seen Hugh Jackman wear the iconic yellow and blue Wolverine suit until Deadpool 3. I think the only other one that was able to work well with the black leather would have to be Storm. It kind of worked. So it is awesome to see Deadpool wearing a faithful red and black costume that is mostly comic book accurate. The costume was made by Baz Luhrmann collaborator Angus Strathy, and he did an amazing job with the Deadpool costume. It's a work of art. Of all the live-action superhero suits that were featured in Fox's X-Men movies, Deadpool's suit just might be my personal favorite. I'm glad to know this suit stayed in all 3 movies for the most part, with very little change. Also, I want to talk about Colossus. I'm glad to see a faithful rendition of the character, and Colossus makes for a great comedic foil to Deadpool's antics. He's the perfect straight-laced hero that's almost like a straight man to the comedic fool that Deadpool is. Sometimes a straight man and a crazy fool are the best kind of comedy you can ask for, like Abbott and Costello. The motion capture used to bring Colossus to life is great to look at, and it's paired wonderfully with the voice performance of Stefan Kapicic. Stefan does an amazing job voicing Colossus. He voices him with genuine sincerity. He makes the character sound like the gentle giant we know and love from the comics. And it's good to know Kapicic stayed as the voice of the character for all 3 films. I can definitely say that Deadpool is the reason Colossus is one of my favorite X-Men characters. The rest of the actors such as Morena Baccarin and Leslie Uggams have great chemistry with Reynolds. Uggams is hilarious as Blind Al. She's sassy and cynical, and her grumpiness pairs well with Wade's attitude. When the plot seems formulaic at times, the actors' performances more than make up for any shortcomings the film might have. I mentioned in my review to Deadpool and Wolverine that Cassandra Nova was one of the best villains of the 3 films. I say this because while Ed Skrein does a good job portraying Ajax, I would not say that he's as good as Sir Ian McKellen and Michael Fassbender as Magneto. He's not as complex or compelling as Magneto, and he also isn't as sympathetic as the evil mutant. I guess that's maybe a good thing, but he isn't as memorable either. He's just a basic sadistic villain, but he does have moments of brutality that benefits the character, and Ed Skrein does a decent job with what he's given. Not my favorite villain of all time, but still better than Ezekiel Sims in Madam Web. At least Ajax didn't have any obvious cringe ADR dubbing. All in all, Deadpool is one of the best spin-off movies from the X-Men franchise. It may not be as great as other X-Men movies, but it's still one of my favorites, and it's always a film that I'm happy to watch again and again. And Deadpool was only the beginning of what would be a very successful franchise.
Coincidentally, I was considering maybe taking a bit of a break from reviewing Logan, Deadpool 2, and Hulk vs. Wolverine. Kind of a bit of a small break to focus on talking about Tim Burton to honor the success of Beetlejuice. So, yeah, consider this a small break from doing the Wolverine and Deadpool reviews. But yeah, so I'll let past me do the little joke, and maybe I'll show a little outtake of what one of the outtake jokes. Thanks for understanding.
Oh, hello. I know what you're thinking. Tony, what's up with the lower part of your chin? It looks like you're trying to grow a Fu Manchu mustache. Actually, no. I'm trying to grow the molar chop, which are a pair of sideburns that Wolverine has. I mean, I'm getting close. I'm getting close enough, but hey, in a few weeks, it'll be much bushier. But hey, the time has come. I no longer have to talk about Wolverine for now, until the next review, because finally, I get to talk about it. I get to talk about Deadpool. Well, I don't think I will be needing this for now. Ooh. Yep, I finally get to wear it. The Deadpool cap just came in a few minutes ago. Oh man, I have been waiting forever to wear this so I can finally talk about Deadpool, the first movie. I'm finally gonna review it in my own unique way. So, as usual, this review, which contains a recap, contains spoilers for the movie to the first Deadpool, and also, possibly, it contains spoilers, I guess, to X-Men Days of Future Past. You've been warned, and of course, well, this review is indeed based on my personal opinion about the film, because, well, I do have a soft spot for the first Deadpool film, because, well, I was 19 going on 20 when I first watched the first Deadpool film in theaters. I say this because Deadpool was the first ever movie I ever watched without a parent accompanying me. It's true. Yeah, I watched it on my own because I was over the age of 17, so yeah, Deadpool was the first R-rated movie I got to watch on my own in a theater. It was kind of like getting to see Freddy vs. Jason on my own with a portable DVD player, but this was different because this was a theater. So yeah, that is indeed a big deal, at least to me. So maybe this review might be a bit biased because it's based on my own personal opinion, but then again, that's how most critical reviews work, you know? They kind of are based on a critic's opinion of how they view the film. So anyway, if you don't agree with my review of this, just take it with a grain of salt. Anyway, let's get to the review. Okay, so like I said, this review is definitely based on a personal bias because, well, I love this movie. I love the first Deadpool film. I have a total soft spot for it. I love watching it. And so I give it 4 stars because, well, the potential is there. It just needs a little bit of a boost. But yeah, that's my review of the first Deadpool movie. Thanks for watching it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and as another character that Ryan Reynolds played that I usually say as my catchphrase, don't have a good day, have a great day.